You are listening to The Standards Desk of News from The Standard Show, the podcast that brings you the stories behind the standards.
Hey, Cindy Parakill.
Hey, Matthew Childs.
Well, shall we have the Standards Desk of News?
Yep, let's do it.
Yes, this is the Standards Desk of News. News about standards and standards in the news. And this time we are covering one story from May 2026. This is an ISO 9001 special.
And we start with ISO 9001 enters its next chapter with final draft published.
The ISO 9001 final draft has been released, giving the clearest view yet of the 2026 revision and marking a major milestone in global quality management. Since its launch in 1987, ISO 9001 has been revised 5 times, with 2026 the first revision since 2015. Today, over 2 million sites are certified globally. And with around 400 million enterprises worldwide, the majority of them SMEs playing a critical role in driving employment and GDP, ISO 9001 remains a key framework for shaping how organisations deliver quality at scale. This update continues a long history of evolution in response to changing business needs and global expectations. Why ISO 9001 is being revised for a new world.
The revision of ISO 9001 reflects major global changes since 2015. Organizations now operate in a more volatile and interconnected world. Supply chains are more complex and increasingly exposed to disruptions from geopolitical instability, economic uncertainty, and global pandemics. At the same time, expectations are rising around ESG, transparency, and ethical conduct. Digital transformation is accelerating change with AI, automation, and hybrid working now embedded in daily operations. These pressures are reshaping what effective quality management looks like. The update ensures ISO 9001 remains relevant, practical, and resilient in a fast-changing global environment. It also reinforces the need for systems that can adapt quickly while maintaining trust, consistency, and performance across global operations. What changes in ISO 9001 mean in practice?
The 2026 revision focuses on refinement rather than overhaul. Leadership accountability is strengthened, with clearer expectations for driving quality, ethical behaviour and culture. Quality culture and ethical behaviours are now explicitly embedded in awareness requirements across the organisation. Risk and opportunity are more clearly separated, supporting better decision-making and improvement. Terms and definitions have been included for the first time, aligning with other management system standards under the harmonised structure, improving clarity and consistency. Annex A is a key addition, offering informative clarifications of the requirements. Together, these updates make the standard easier to understand and apply in real organisational settings. They also help bridge the gap between technical requirements and practical implementation across different sectors and organisation sizes. Quality moves from systems to behaviour in ISO 9001.
The updated ISO 9001 shifts focus to how quality is led and lived inside organizations. Leadership is expected to play a more active role in shaping behavior, decisions, and culture. Quality culture becomes more central, with ethical behavior and values influencing everyday actions at every level. Organizations are encouraged to embed quality thinking into daily operations. The clearer distinction between risk and opportunity supports more proactive and balanced decision-making. In practice, quality becomes increasingly about behavior, leadership, and mindset across the organization. This reflects a broader shift in how modern organizations define performance, trust, and long-term resilience in increasingly complex environments. What the ISO 9001 update means for certified organizations.
For organisations already certified to ISO 9001, the 2026 update is evolutionary rather than disruptive. Core requirements remain stable, supporting continuity in existing quality management systems. However, expectations are becoming clearer around leadership engagement, ethical behaviour, and quality culture. Organisations will need to show how these principles are actively lived, not just documented. Risk and opportunity management is also more clearly defined, encouraging better balance between control and growth, including clearer consideration of the management of changes. Most organisations will build on what they already have, strengthening how systems are applied in practice, rather than redesigning them from scratch, with greater emphasis on evaluating whether actions taken are effective in achieving intended results. This allows for a smoother transition while still raising the bar on how quality is demonstrated across the organisation. And finally, getting ready for ISO 9001-2026 while the draft is still open.
With the final draft now available, organizations can start preparing early for the publication of ISO 9001-2026 coming later this year. This means reviewing current systems, identifying gaps, and engaging leadership teams in understanding what is changing. Early preparation matters, given the scale of adoption, with millions of organizations worldwide relying on ISO 9001 and SMEs forming the majority of global business. Planning now allows organizations to move at a steady pace rather than reacting under time pressure later. All the details you need to know are in the show notes.
They are indeed, and the show notes are also where you can find details of our socials and all the other ways to get in touch with us here on The Standard Show. Well, thank you, Cindy Parakill.
Thank you, Matthew Childs.
For May 2026 and this ISO 9001 special, that's the Standards Desk of News.
You have been listening to the Standards Desk of News from The Standard Show, the podcast that brings you the stories behind the standards.
You just heard a Stripped Media production.